and welcome back to Friday Reads, where we help you find your next read. And Jules and I are here on location again.
We're in Sunset Park and we're down by the water, and I squid you not, it's time for summer reading program. So we have Oceans of Possibilities this summer, and we actually have 4 programs this summer. So we start out with babies, and the goal for those is for ages birth to 3, and you want to read 20 days each month and mark them off on your sheet. We also have a youth program for ages 3 through entering 8th grade, but the kids in grades 6 through 8 can choose either the youth or the teen program. This one has a fun map where you're going to mark different things off. The goal for that group is to read 2 hours each week for the 8 weeks of our program. We also have a fun teen program. Their goal is to read 8 books and a bonus level. If they go, they can come in, get stamps. It's similar to the adult program, where they're also reading books for the summer and has a fun map. And there's a bonus built into that one where they can either watch a documentary or read a nonfiction book. So stop in and see us at the Kimberly Library. You have to sign up in person so you can pick up one of your pamphlets or your books. Registration just takes a few minutes. So come in and say hi. It started earlier this week, and the program officially runs from June 6th to August 6th. So
get some prizes for reading.
In the spirit of Oceans of Possibilities, Jill and I picked books relating to oceans, beaches, the sea. So I'll turn it over to Jill to kick things off.
All right, my first book is a new one from our new shelf, The Unsinkable Greta James by Jennifer Smith. This was published in March 1st, 2022. Greta James' meteoric rise to indie stardom was hard-won. Before she graced magazine covers and sold-out venues, she spent her girlhood strumming her guitar in the family garage. Her first fan was her mother, Helen, whose face shone bright in the dusty downtown bars where she got her start. But not everyone encouraged Greta to follow her dreams. While many daydreamed about a crowd chanting their name, her father, Conrad, saw only a precarious life ahead for his daughter. Greta has spent her life trying to prove him wrong, but 3 months after Helen's sudden death and weeks before the launch of her high-stakes sophomore album, Greta has an onstage meltdown that goes viral.
Uh-oh.
Attempting to outrun the humiliation and heartbreak, she reluctantly agrees to accompany her father on a week-long Alaskan cruise, the very one that her parents had booked to celebrate their 40th anniversary. This could be the James family last chance to heal old wounds and prove the voyage of discovery for them, as well as Ben Wilder, historian also struggling with major upheaval in his life. Ben is on board to lecture about Jack London's The Call of the Wild, the adventure story Greta's mother adored, and he captures Greta's attention after her streak of dating hanger-ons. As Greta works to build up her confidence and heal, Ben confronts an uncertain future. They must rely on one another to make sense of life's difficult choices. In the end, Greta must make the most challenging decision of all: listen to the song within her or make peace with those who love her. So, Unsinkable Greta James.
My first pick is probably a popular author for several of you. It's The Bookstore on the Beach by Brenda Novak. This was just published in 2021. How do you start a new chapter of your life when you haven't closed the book on the previous one? 18 months ago, Autumn's husband went missing. Her desperate search has yielded no answers, and she can't imagine moving forward without him. But for the sake of their 2 teenage children, she has to try. Autumn takes her kids home for the summer to the charming beachside town where she was raised. She seeks comfort working alongside her mother and her aunt at their bookshop, only to learn that her daughter is facing a huge life change and her mother has been hiding a terrible secret for years. And when she runs into the boy who stole her heart in high school, old feelings start to bubble up again. Is she free to love him, or should she hold out hope for her husband's return? She can only trust her heart, and she hopes it won't lead her astray. This one, like the title, The Bookstore on the Beach. Would love a bookstore on a beach.
Yeah. That'd be perfect. You can get kayaks here, though. My next one is also from the news shelf, How Not to Drown by Jamie Riston Colbert. It was published in January 2021. Amelia McQueen has lost her favorite son Gavin to a suspicious drowning, for which her daughter-in-law has been convicted. She's been awarded temporary custody of Gavin and Cassie's 12-year-old daughter, Heaven, a name that makes Amelia cringe. Reluctantly, she takes Heaven in, but asks the girl to call her Grandmelia instead of Grandma, a name that doesn't make Amelia feel quite so old. The daughter of drug addicts who has long been left to her own devices, Heaven does not appreciate her grandmother's constant critical administrations, and the pair quickly butt heads. She instead bonds with Uncle Daniel, Amelia's older, agoraphobic son, who never leaves his bedroom. Through the wall between the rooms, Daniel spins Celtic tales for Heaven in the Isle of Skye, where the family's ancestors lived, including 15-year-old Maggie, who mysteriously disappeared crossing the Atlantic many years ago. As much as Amelia loved Gavin, Heaven is the last thing Amelia would have asked for. But when Heaven goes missing during a dangerous storm one night, Amelia is forced to re-examine her outlook on family. Oh.
All right. My second pick is Who is Maud Dixon by Alexandra Andrews. This was also published last year. I picked a few from last year that you may have missed during the pandemic and us reopening. So, Florence Darrow is a small-town striver who believes that she's destined to become a celebrated writer. When she stumbles into the opportunity to become the assistant to Maud Dixon, a celebrated but anonymous novelist, think Elena Ferrante, she believes that the universe is finally providing her big chance. The arrangement feels idyllic. Helen can be prickly, but she is full of pointed wisdom on both writing and living. She even invites Florence along on a research trip to beautiful Morocco, where her new novel is set. Florence has never been out of the country before. Maybe she imagines she'll finally have something exciting to write about herself. But when Florence wakes up in the hospital after a terrible car crash and Helen is dead, she begins to imagine what it might be like to upgrade into not only Helen's life, but also that of Helen's best-selling pseudonym, Maud Dixon. So this one sounded intriguing to me. I have not read this book, but I have it on my list of books.
My next pick is The Light Between the Ocean by M.L. Studman. This was published in 2012. Australia, 1926. After 4 harrowing years fighting in the Western Front, Tom Sherborne returns home to take a job as a lighthouse keeper on Janus Rock, nearly a half a day's journey from the coast. To this isolated island where the supply boat comes once a season and shore leaves are granted every other year at best. Tom brings a young, bold, and loving wife, Isabel. Years later, after 2 miscarriages and 1 stillbirth, the grieving Isabel hears a baby's cries in the wind. A boat has washed up on shore carrying a dead man and a living baby. Tom, whose records as a lighthouse keeper are meticulous and whose moral principles have withstood a horrific war, wants to report the man and infant immediately, but Isabel has taken the tiny baby to her breast. Against Tom's judgment, they claim her as their own and name her Lucy. When she is 2, Tom and Isabel return to the mainland and are reminded there are other people in the world, and their choice has devastated one of them. So, yeah. Light Between the Oceans.
I actually cried when I read that book, and I liked the movie too.
So sad.
I know. My next pick is actually a nonfiction pick. It's one of our new nonfiction. This is Into the Planet, My Life as a Cave Diver by Jill Heinerth, published in 2019. From one of the world's most renowned cave divers, a first-hand account of exploring the Earth's final frontier, the hidden depths of our oceans, and the sunken caves inside our planet. More people have died exploring underwater caves than climbing Mount Everest, and we know more about deep space than we do about the depths of our oceans. From one of the top cave divers working today, and one of the few women in her field, Into the Planet blends science, adventure, and memoir to bring readers face to face with the terror and beauty of Earth's remaining unknowns and the extremes of human capability. This author, the first person in history to dive deep into an Antarctic iceberg and leader of a team that discovered the ancient watery remains of Mayan civilizations, has descended farther into the inner depths of our planet than any other woman. She takes us into the harrowing split-second decisions that determine whether a diver makes it back to safety, the prejudices that prevent women from pursuing careers underwater, and her endeavor to recover a fallen friend's body from the confines of a cave. Written with hair-raising intensity, this book is the first book to deliver an intimate account of cave diving, transporting readers into inner space where fear must be reconciled and a mission's success balances between knowing one limit and pushing the envelope of human endurance. So, it sounded kind of fascinating to me. Into the Planet, My Life as a Cave Diver. Nonfiction, new nonfiction.
Scared of cave diving since I saw Meg 2.
Oh gosh.
All right. My next one is The Ocean at the End of the Lane by Neil Gaiman. And like most Neil Gaiman stories, this is fantasy fiction. Sussex, England, a middle-aged man returns to his childhood home to attend a funeral. Although the house he lived in is long gone, he is drawn to a farm at the end of the road, where when he was 7, he encountered a most remarkable girl, Letty Hempstock, and her mother and grandmother. He hasn't thought of Letty in decades, and yet as he sits by the pond, a pond she claimed was an ocean, behind the ramshackle old farmhouse, he unremembered past comes flooding back. And it is a past too strange, too frightening, too dangerous to happen to anyone, let alone a small boy. 40 years earlier, a man committed suicide in a stolen car at this farm at the end of the road. Like a fuse on a firework, his death lit a torch paper and resonated unimaginable ways. The darkness was unleashed, something scary and thoroughly incomprehensive was to the little boy. And Letty, a magical, comforting, wise beyond year, promised to protect him no matter what. So, yeah. So, sounds weird, which is most of Neil Gaiman stuff, but
Did you read that one?
No, I did not.
I did. I liked it. Yeah, I liked it.
A pond is an ocean, in case you can't get to the ocean.
My next pick I picked just by the title because I thought the title was cute. And this is Shoulder Season by Christina Clancy, also published in 2021. And it takes place in the small town of Lake Geneva, Wisconsin, which is an unlikely location for a Playboy resort, but 19-year-old Sherry Taylor is an unlikely bunny. Growing up in neighboring East Troy, Wisconsin, Sherry plays the organ at the local church and has never felt comfortable in her own skin. But when her parents die in quick succession, she leaves the only home she's ever known for the chance to be part of a glamorous slice of history. In the winter of 1981, a costume 2 sizes too small, her toes pinched by towering stilettos, Sherry joins the daughters of dairy farmers and factory workers for the defining experience of her life. Living in the bunny hutch, as they call it, Playboy's version of a college dorm surrounded by a 12-foot-high barbed wire fence to keep the men out and the girls in, Sherry gets her education in the joys of sisterhood, the thrill of financial independence, the magic of first love, and the heady effects of sex, drugs, and rock and roll. But as spring gives way to summer, Sherry finds herself caught up in a romantic triangle, and the tragedy that ensues will haunt her for the next 40 years of her life. Shoulder Season follows Sherry from her fledgling days as a bunny when she tries to reinvent herself to the woman she becomes years later. Starts with the Midwestern prairie, goes out to the California desert, from the Wisconsin lakes to the Pacific Oceans. This is a story of what happens when small town life is sprinkled with stardust and what we lose and gain when we leave home. So if this sounds intriguing, check out Shoulder Season.
I feel like that cover and that title is like perfect summer.
I know, that's why I said this one I picked solely on the cover.
Totally.
And like just cute. And it's always good when a book starts out in the Midwest.
Hey, yeah, Wisconsin pride. I don't know if you can see the title to this one, but I'm leaving it in my list. It's Ship of Fools by Catherine Ann Porter. This is a classic that was published in 1962. The story takes place in the summer of 1931 on board a cruise ship bound for Germany. Passengers include a Spanish nobleman, a drunken German lawyer, an American divorcee, a pair of Mexican Catholic priests. This ship of fools is a crucible of intense experience out of which everyone emerges forever changed. Rich in incident, passion, and treachery, the novel explores themes of nationalism, cultural and ethnic pride, and basic human frailty that is as relevant today as it was when it was published in 1962. So, yeah, Ship of Fools. Cruise ship drama.
And my last pick is another one that you may have a little trouble seeing in the light, but You, Me, and the Sea by Meg Donahue, published in 2019. She's the best-selling author of All the Summer Girls and Dog Crazy. This is a spellbinding and suspenseful tale inspired by Wuthering Heights that illuminates the ways in which hope and even magic can blossom in the darkest of places. To find her way, she must abandon everything she loves. As a child, Mero believes she is born of the sea, strong, joyous, and wild. Her beloved home is Horseshoe Cliff, a small farm on the coast of Northern California, where she spends her days exploring fog-cloaked bluffs, swimming in the cove, and basking in the light of golden sunsets, as her father entertains her with fantastical stories. It's an enchanting childhood, but it is not without hardship. The mystery of Mero's mother's death haunts her, as does the increasingly senseless cruelty of her older brother Bear. Then, like sea glass carried from a distant land, Amir arrives in Meryl's life. He's been tossed about from India to New York City and now to Horseshoe Cliff to stay with her family. She's immediately drawn to his spirit, his passion, and his resilience in the face of Bear's viciousness. Together they embrace their love of the sea and their growing love for each other. But the ocean holds secrets in its darkest depths. When tragedy strikes, Meryl is forced to question whether Amir is really the person she believed him to be. In order to escape the danger she finds herself in and find her own path forward, she must let go of the only home she's ever known and the only boy she's ever loved. So you have to read the book and find out how this all turns out in You, Me, and the Sea by Meg Donahue.
Well, I hope we helped you find something to read the next time you're spending some time by the water this summer.
Got lots of books in the library relating to water, beaches, and the sea. Come in and see us. We'd love to have you sign up for our Oceans of Possibilities summer reading program. Got a lot of fun things planned. The reading program itself, and there's also lots of events for kids, teens, families, adults. So stop on in and sign up with us. We hope you found something to read today. Sitting by the kayak rentals in Sunset Park. It's a beautiful day out here. So thank you for watching. Like, comment, share. You can find us on Facebook and on our website. And until next time when we're in our crazy squid hats, thank you for watching.